Hey everybody, and thanks for clicking on this video and checking out my channel. So last night I went out to see Pokémon Detective Pikachu. So I want to jump on camera and give my thoughts and opinions about it. If you've seen the movie and you want to talk about it and you want to share your thoughts and opinions about it, I welcome you to do so and I'd love for you to do so. Just put them down in the comment section below and let's get a fun conversation going. And with all that out of the way, let's talk about Detective Pikachu. So Detective Pikachu is directed by Rob Letterman and is based off a Nintendo DS game of the same name. When his father is presumably announced dead, Tim Goodman, portrayed by Justice Smith, teams up with his father's old partner Pokémon, Pikachu, and together the two of them set out to find the truth about his father's disappearance. So first I want to talk about the world that they created in this movie. The movie's setting is in Rhyme City, where the Pokémon and humans have come to live in harmony together. It reminded me a lot of Zootopia in a way, to be honest. And I thought this was really cool. The way that they set up this world in this environment of how the Pokemon and the humans live together and interact together and how they kind of need each other in a way, I thought was set up pretty nicely. I liked the look and the creative vision of this world of Rhyme City. And I like how you get to see the Pokemon use a specific set of skills and powers to help out in the community. For example, there were a bunch of Squirtles who were part of the fire department. I thought that was really cool. I thought that was a lot of fun. I actually wish we got to spend more time in Rhyme City and got to explore it more, because I thought it was a really cool setting and a cool place to be, but we don't get to spend that much time there. We don't get to explore it too much. But just seeing all these Pokemon in these environments, most of them is from like Generation 1, which is what I grew up with. My history with Pokemon is I used to watch the old TV show, I used to collect the cards, and I used to play the video games on a Game Boy, a device that looked like this. So seeing all the Pokemon show up on the screen in Rhyme City really felt like I was just like seeing old friends again. It just brought me right back. It was so cool. I remembered like some of their names that I had forgotten for a very long time. As soon as they popped up on screen, I was like, oh, it's Lickitung! Like, it just came right back to me. It was really cool. I wasn't expecting to have that feeling. It was really cool that this movie could provide that kind of nostalgia for me. So let's talk about the human characters in the movie. The human characters mostly consist of Justice Smith and Catherine Newton, who kind of team up with Pikachu to help discover the mystery behind the father's disappearance. So talking about Justice Smith, when he first came on screen, his acting was honestly a bit uneven to me. It felt a little iffy. I don't like to judge acting too much, but it just didn't feel good to me. I didn't feel like he was that intriguing of a character. I didn't feel like the actor was really pulling off the acting skills to get me invested into the character. I was kind of bored by him, to be honest. But the minute that he meets up with Pikachu, portrayed by Ryan Reynolds, his acting and their dynamic and their chemistry together makes him so much better. I instantly get more interested in the character. It's almost like Justice Smith came alive as soon as Pikachu came into the screen. His character just came alive. He became a much more interesting character, more fun, more lively, and he did a really good job interacting with all of these Pokemon that aren't really there. He did a really good job, made me believe that they were there, and his dynamic with Detective Pikachu is great in this movie. Going on to Catherine Newton, who plays kind of like the romantic love interest to Justice Smith, which that part of the movie really fell flat for me. I didn't think that that was done well at all. I thought the romantic story was very poor, but the movie does play it off for a lot of jokes, so you could argue that there wasn't really supposed to be a romantic relationship to get invested into. It was all just there so that Pikachu could make his jokes. But her character's really just one note. She's an amateur reporter, and the performance that Catherine Newton gives felt a little bit like she was just doing a bit to me. Didn't really feel that much of a character. I didn't get that invested in her. Nothing against the actress or anything. I just didn't get that invested in her character. But of course, the title character of the movie is Detective Pikachu himself. And he is the saving grace of this movie. If Ryan Reynolds was not Pikachu in this movie, I don't think this movie is as much fun, and I don't think it's as enjoyable as it is. Ryan Reynolds is just constantly coming in, interjecting as Pikachu with his commentary, his comedic jokes, and at one point in the movie, it was about halfway through the movie, I was watching it and I was thinking, have I laughed at anything in this movie besides what Ryan Reynolds has been saying? And the answer was no. The only portions of this film that I found funny were all coming from Detective Pikachu and Ryan Reynolds himself. So he was definitely the saving grace of the movie. If he was not in it, I don't think this movie works very well. And one thing that I really liked about Detective Pikachu is that one of my fears going into the movie was that I was just going to be like, oh, it's Deadpool in a Pikachu body. Like, it's just going to feel like Ryan Reynolds doing Deadpool, but this time he's voicing Pikachu. But I didn't feel that at all. The whole time I was watching this movie, I didn't hear Deadpool. I didn't see Deadpool. Ryan Reynolds was able to make Detective Pikachu funny and have the Ryan Reynolds sense of humor, but he did not feel like Deadpool. He felt like his own character. Detective Pikachu was his own character, and I really appreciated that, and I really enjoyed that about Ryan Reynolds' performance as Detective Pikachu. As far as the negatives of the movie go, if you really want to look at the script and the screenplay and really dissect it, it's completely formulaic, riddled and filled with cliches, and is nothing new. It's a really basic story, a buddy cop story, a mystery story, just interjected and replaced with Pokemon in it, which causes the movie to be a little predictable. I'm not going to say that I predicted everything, but at one point in the movie, when something was happening, when a character was explaining something, I figured out a big part of the mystery. Basically, the main part of the mystery that they were trying to solve, I had figured out by almost the halfway point. And I suck at mysteries. I can never predict anything in a mystery story. So that's saying something if even I'm able to predict the end of your mystery movie. And like I said, I did find that there was a lot of similarities in this movie to Zootopia. At one point, I kind of felt like I was watching it, and it didn't go exactly where I thought it was going to go. But as I was watching it, I was like, did these filmmakers watch Zootopia and then think we can do the same thing just with Pokemon? Like, there's a lot of similar ideas. Like, for example, Rhyme City with the Pokemon and humans living in harmony feels a lot like how Zootopia was prey and predators living in harmony. And then there's a item, so to say, that affects the Pokemon in a certain way, and it felt like it was copy and pasted from Zootopia to this movie, how that item worked and how it affected the Pokemon. I won't give too much away in that department, but I was watching it and I was like, they took that from Zootopia. You cannot tell me that they did not take that from Zootopia. And also, some of the Pokemon in the movie looked good, and then other parts of the Pokemon did look like they were more so photoshopped and less realistic in the world. Like, it did almost look like the Pokemon Go on your phone. You know that game that was out like 2 or 3 years ago, where the camera on your phone would show your environment, but then a Pokemon would appear. Now, you know the Pokemon's not really there just by the way that it looks and it's animated, but it's fun because you get to catch Pokemon. But in the movie, when the Pokemon look like that, and I'm thinking to myself, I don't believe that Pokemon's really there, it does kind of take me out of the movie for like a second. But the best looking Pokemon is definitely the Pokemon that needs to look the best, and that is Detective Pikachu himself. He looks fantastic. The fur on him, he's adorable. I never once thought that Detective Pikachu was not there. He looked the most real of all the Pokemon, and I felt like he needed to look the most real of all the Pokemon. And guys, in the end, I had a darn good time with Detective Pikachu. It has some pacing problems for sure. I felt that it was even a little slow in the start. It took a while for me to get into Justice Smith's character. But as soon as Ryan Reynolds as Detective Pikachu shows up in this film, it injects so much more fun into it. I have a blast from that part on. It's a tad predictable, it's filled with cliches, it's totally formulaic, but if you're able to look all past that like I did, I think you're going to have a really fun time, especially if you have some kind of history with the Pokemon franchise. I wouldn't say Detective Pikachu is a great movie, but I will say that for me, it was good enough. Anyway guys, those are my thoughts and opinions on Pokemon Detective Pikachu. But have you had a chance to see the movie? What did you think about Pokemon Detective Pikachu? Comment down below, let me know. I want to know all your thoughts and opinions about this movie. And let's get a fun conversation going in the comment section below. Guys, once again, my name's Zachary Milne. Thank you for talking movies with me, and I hope you have yourself a great day.